Episode 100. I didn't think we'd actually make it to 100 episodes. You know, we started this channel for the whole RV travel and documenting our adventures, and then around episode 36 is when we got a Jeep to tow behind the RV. And then episode 40 was our first ever Jeep trail, and now we're on episode 100. And it's crazy how much has happened during this whole time period.
Perfect.
So yeah, lots of growth in this time, lots of upgrades that have waited, lots of upgrades that you've given us flack for because we have not had yet. So episode 100 is getting rid of the stock bumper. We finally got a proper bumper.
And a winch.
Yes, so we are now fully equipped to get ourselves out of trouble, which we don't really get ourselves into trouble to begin with. So we're gonna start off with the unboxing, and then we're gonna go through like a little install, and yeah, we'll show you how all that went. So here we go. Before we can do anything, we've got to get the stock bumper removed. Not only that, but we've also got to remove the Blue Ox base plate that we've been using to flat tow the Jeep. The base plate has been good to us, and it's definitely a stout piece of equipment, but for what we do, it just kept getting in the way. Besides, we'll now be towing from the tow bar brackets tied directly into the frame on the new bumper. With the stock bumper removed, we transferred the OEM fog lights into the new bumper. It was pretty much a perfect fit, with all of the holes mostly lining up. It did take a fair amount of time to remove the wiring harness from the old bumper, but it went on without any issues. With the OEM fog lights reassembled, it was time to mount the bumper onto the frame. At this time, it's advised to also mount the tow bar brackets. Before the installation, I did some research so I knew what I was getting myself into, and everything indicated that longer bolts would be shipped with the brackets. But for us, no hardware was included. After calling Rockhard customer support, they told us to use the bolts that came with the bumper. The only problem is that these bolts were too short at 3 inches when they should have been 4 inches. We went ahead and assembled the bumper without the brackets, and after calling Rockhard, they were able to ship the bolts and I received them 48 hours later. Also, weird side note, we went with Rockhard for a few reasons, but mainly because they fully support flat towing. The Blue Ox brackets were an additional charge, and it's meant to tie directly with our Blue Ox tow bar. It's interesting though because I was under the impression that it was tied into the frame directly, meaning I didn't want to just tow via welded on D-rings, but weirdly enough, the tow bar brackets are welded on. This isn't a jab at Rockhard by any means, but it was just a little interesting to me. After getting the bumper bolted in place, it was time to mount the winch. Since we have an aluminum bumper, Rockhard includes this steel base plate for the winch, and then under the base plate and under the bumper, another steel bracket to serve as a washer. So although the bumper is aluminum, the winch is secure between two pieces of steel. It was a very, very tight fit, and it took quite a while to get it lined up with the bolts. The hardware that Warn shipped included 2 different sizes of bolts, only the larger set actually included 2 different sizes. I had to eliminate the lock washers on the front to gain enough thread so that the bolt wouldn't be compromised when the winch is under use.
Now serving far from ordinary merchandise. Our comfortable tees are the perfect fit, with a variety of designs including our off-road series, available in multiple colors and sizes. And coming soon, trail stickers, custom made right here on the Front Range in sunny Colorado, United States. Get your Far From Ordinary merchandise today at farfromordinarylife.com/merch. Far From Ordinary Life. Sell your own merch with ravenseed.com.
The winch guard went on with mostly no issues. The hardware that Rockhard supplied to secure it to the front seemed dainty, and I had to exclude the lock washers here because the bolts were too short. I'm not sure if the bolts they included are for the optional lightbar or not, as there weren't any instructions for this included. After adding a few temporary shackles, the installation of this was largely completed. Wiring the winch was pretty straightforward, but I did spend a lot of time routing the cable so that it was out of the way of fans, belts, or anything else that would be spinning or otherwise get hot. It's currently unhooked, as I'm still undecided on whether or not to include a resettable breaker on the positive line going to the battery. How is yours wired? Let us know in the comments below. At the end of the day, or at least a couple of days, it all came together pretty well, and I think it looks amazing. There's still a couple things left to do, like cutting off these frame horns or frame tusks or whatever you call them. Yeah, it just makes us look official now. I think it really completes the front end of the whole Jeep. I think before it was like a kid with his braces on, like he was just maturing, but now the kid has got his braces off, and now he's matured and become a little bit of an adult. Kind of step it up a little bit.